Welcome back to another edition of Miami Cycling. Today we have Breaking the Cycle Race 4. This is the final race of the series. Today we have just Jake and myself racing. I told Jake that this race I'm probably just going to look to for getting back into some fitness because we have the State Road Race Championship coming in a couple weeks, and I'm in the middle of a pretty big training block, and I just wanted to keep training through this and not really taper off or anything for this race. But we also agreed that we would both try and get into a breakaway today, because today seemed like a good breakaway day due to the fact that the GC was already decided, and there was some crosswinds coming down the long straightaways, so it was a good opportunity. I'm not really going that hard off the front right here, but I see a couple guys coming up and ready to attack right away, and I was like, all right, well shit, if we're gonna try and do a breakaway today, then let me get the first shot in. So I'm trying to catch up to these guys, and these guys are hammering. You can see here I'm doing 29 miles an hour and throwing out 580 watts, 600 watts, and I'm not making really that much headway to get into wheels, but I'm also pretty far ahead of the peloton now. So I spend the first couple laps here trying to bridge across to these guys, and these guys are absolutely hammering it. They keep looking back over their shoulders, and I'm kind of hoping that they would just let off the gas just a little bit for me to catch up and get on their wheel so I can contribute, because a breakaway of 4 is better than a breakaway of 3, but every time they turn around and look back, it seemed like they would start pedaling harder and harder. So this first 2 laps, I ended up setting at number 2 all-time for 5-minute power. So I forget what the exact number was, but it was pretty close to 400 watts for 5 minutes, which is a lot for me. So as you can see here, I am just now catching up to these guys. It's taken quite a bit of effort. You can see here I'm still over 400 watts, touching 500 watts, and this is all in the first lap. This is like, okay, I'm gonna burn a match, I'm gonna burn another match, and I'm gonna burn the whole book of matches. And I think what I learned about myself today is I knew that if this move didn't work out, that this was probably gonna wreck any opportunity I had later in the race, because this is gonna kill my legs. But I think a year ago, before I started seriously training with Inside Edge Performance, I had tried this kind of thing a couple times, and I would end up being out of the race within the next 5 or 10 minutes. I would completely blow up. I think my level of fitness this year is at a place where I can burn a match like this and continue and stay in the race for the next 45-50 minutes, where a year ago it was just not possible to put out anywhere close to this level of effort. As you can see here, I'm struggling now. I'm putting out way too much time. I've been blabbering here for almost 4 minutes, and I'm still pushing close to threshold here. And this is just really tough. We didn't let up, and you can see we can't even see the guys behind us. Like, they're already a couple turns behind us. I think at this point we could have just started rolling through and keeping a steady pace, because the peloton can't see us anymore, and they wouldn't probably be chasing as hard as they would if they could see us. But I just burned through all my matches, and this is like the key moment of the race for me. I'm not gonna lie, like, the rest of this video footage is gonna be pretty boring for me, so I don't know how much more of this race I'm gonna show you. Like, I raced it, I made it through the whole race or whatever. I'm going to skip ahead. Maybe I can see where we can identify where Jake makes his move. Jake did end up getting into the winning move today, the winning breakaway. If I can find that on this video footage, I'll highlight that, because once his group got away, I got back on the front for a couple turns to do some false tempo. the teammates of some of the other guys that see. All right, here. You know what? Actually, I forgot about this part. This is where it all went to hell. This guy, like, he just decides, okay, I've had enough of this breakaway. I'm going away, and at this point, I'm like, I can't follow this move again. Like, there's just no way. So I just took my foot off the gas and just kept pedaling, but trying to recover why the bunch caught up. But anyway, back to it. I'm gonna skip ahead, see if I can find where Jake's breakaway is. They ended up getting over a minute on the peloton later in the race, and I'm still unclear how the race finished. He said that he lost track of how many laps there were left, and I think he said he went too soon. So I'm gonna try and find that, and I'll see you guys in 1 second your time, but probably like 15 minutes my time trying to figure it out. So I forgot about this part. I think we're probably like 4 or 5 laps into the race now, and I just noticed we weren't really going fast enough to catch up to the guys that I was just with. So here I am trying to do a little effort on the front to pull this gap a little closer to the 3 guys that I was just with. So now this makes even more the effort that I put out sound even more stupid, because I put out effort to chase them down in the beginning of the race. Now I'm burning another match to take a pull in the front to try and reel them in, so Jake can have an opportunity a little later in the race to jump ahead. I just wanted to call out, I don't know. I mean, I know I said I really was looking at this for a training ride. It did end up being a really hard race, and the TSS and the normalized power for the race puts out for this, but it's just like watching this video over again and just thinking about, like, wow, I had really good legs yesterday or today, depending on when you're watching this video. I don't know, it's just kind of a waste. I think I had good enough legs probably to just sit in and be patient and make a move later in the race rather than put that big effort in so early. So I don't know, it is what it is, but again, I'm going to skip ahead, keep trying to find Jake's move. It should be coming up soon. So I think right here, this is the second to last big attack before the winning move goes. There's a few guys up the road, including Jake, I think, is actually up here in this group ahead, but I don't think this is actually the winning move. And I tried to jump across to this, and I just gave a quick look over my shoulder and saw that I was actually towing some guys with me, and since Jake was up the road, I decided to call that off and just follow wheels as they came across. But if you can see in the back, like, at this point the peloton's pretty much split in half, and I think this move here, while it didn't work, I think this is the move that allowed the next move to really work, because at this point everybody's strung out, everybody's panicking and trying to get back to the front of the race, and it comes back together here very briefly, and then I think this is where the move that Jake gets into happens next. He was actually in this move ahead, but it comes back together briefly, and everybody gets gassed right here from doing this big chase. So I think we're getting close to this winning move, and this is getting close to right around halfway point of this race. So I looked for it, I can't find it, but Jake's move's already up the road, and these guys that I'm riding around all have teammates in the breakaway that's up the road. I'm not sure how many riders there were. I think maybe 6, 7, 8. I'm not really sure, but I was chatting with some of these guys up here, and everybody confirmed, yeah, we got a teammate. So spent some time just doing some false tempo in the front, and It's letting some guys through to try and bridge across and burn themselves out, but for the most part, all the teams did a really good job of managing the peloton and keeping it fast enough where people didn't get impatient and start going crazy, but also slow enough where the breakaway could really get away and make something happen. I think you can see a few guys are trying to get across here, but not really successful. The breakaway's already pretty far up the road. So this eventually comes back together, and I'll skip ahead to the bell, where you can see I completely run out of gas, and that'll be the end of the video. Yeah, I lost the rear camera for some reason, but this is the bell lap. Bell's ringing right here. I try one last little attack here, try and go long, but I fired that bullet at the beginning of the race, and I just didn't have anything left in the tank. Not sure why my Whoop is reading such a low heart rate, but I can assure you it was higher than 156 at this point. But anyway, this is my last effort on the last lap to try and make something happen. I mean, this was like a race, I think, to get top 10, because there's already 8 or 9 guys up the road, 6, 7, I don't know. But that's it. That's the end of the video. Thanks for watching.